Hey everyone, welcome back to my channel. I'm Rachel from Evelyn and Peter, and today I have a crochet bag pattern to share with you all. So this is the cute little summer tote that I made. This is what it looks like without the bag insert on the inside, and then I'm going to show you what it looks like with the bag insert on the inside. So you can just get these off Amazon. I use them for most of my crochet bags that I have. They are really great. They just give the inside of your bag a liner, and it gives it some structure to the bag, as well as having pockets and things like that. So if you have no sewing skills like me, then you can easily purchase one of these and add it to the bottom of the bag. So here is what it looks like with the liner on the inside. So just a bit more structure in the bag, and I think it helps give it a really cute shape. But this bag works either way, with or without the liner. So the free pattern is on my blog, EvelynAndPeter.com. I will link to that in the description, as well as putting a link up here. It is a kit with Lion Brand. The kit comes with all the yarn you need to make your bag, plus a free copy of the printable PDF pattern. And then of course it's on Etsy and on Ravelry as well. If you're not already subscribed to my newsletter, I recommend doing that. I let you guys know whenever I have a new pattern coming out, tutorial, or anything fun happening with Evelyn and Peter. You guys are the first to know that, and then I also let you know if there's any good sales happening with my patterns or with my kits as well. A little bit about how the bag is made. I'm using Lion Brand 24/7 cotton for this, and you hold it double throughout. I just think it helps make the bag a lot stronger. You will be making 2 panels from the bottom up, and then 2 straps and sewing them in. And then afterwards you'll add this cute little trim along to the top of the bag as well. So very simple once you get the stitch down. So in this design, you're going to be working double crochet stitches, but you're working it 2 rows below. So you'll be working over a chain as well. And I explain all of that in the video, and I will walk you through the entire thing. Other than that, I think that is it. Thank you guys so much for watching. I will make sure to link to everything for you, and I will see you in the next tutorial. Today I'm going to be using Lion Brand's 24/7 cotton yarn. I am using the color Hay Bale. This is a worsted weight yarn. All of the exact yardage is available on my blog. We are going to be holding the yarn double stranded throughout the project. I'm also using a 5.5mm crochet hook, a pair of scissors, and a needle to weave in ends. So we're going to be making 2 identical panels. We're going to be holding our yarn double stranded, so go ahead and grab 2 skeins of yarn and then hold those 2 yarn strands together and create a slip knot. And both of the panels are exactly the same. So once you make this one, you can come back and rewatch if you need to make the second one. I have a long tail here on the end of my project. That way I can sew the bottom of the bag later on. And now we are just going to start off with a series of chains. So just yarn over and pull through the loop on your hook a total of 30 times. So we're just making 30 chains. So yarn over and pull through, using both of those strands at the same time. Once you have your 30 chains, we're going to begin row 1. So for row 1, we're going to be working a double crochet into the 3rd chain from the hook. So yarn over, insert your hook into that back bump of the 3rd chain, yarn over, pull up a loop, yarn over, pull through 2, and then yarn over, pull through 2. So that is our first double crochet. And then we're going to work a second double crochet in the chain directly after. So yarn over and insert your hook into that back bump of the next chain and work your double crochet stitch. And then we're going to do another one into the next chain. So work your 3rd double crochet into that next chain. And then we're going to do one more. So in the chain directly after that, work your final double crochet. So we have a total of 4 double crochet stitches here. Now we're going to be chaining and skipping over the next few chains. So we're going to chain 4 and then skip over the following 4 chains from below, and then work 4 more double crochet into the next. So go ahead and chain 4, and then you'll count out the next 4 stitches from the starting chain, skip over all 4 of them, and then in the following chain directly after that, you can yarn over, insert your hook into the back bump of that next chain, and go ahead and work your first double crochet of this set. And then we're going to do 3 more double crochet after this one. So we have our first one here, and now 1 double crochet in the chain directly after, as well as the 2 chains after this one as well. So 4 double crochet total. So now you're just going to continue this same thing across the row. So chain 4, skip 4 more chains, and then 1 double crochet into the next 4 chains. So go ahead and do this all the way across. Okay, so now I've completed row 1. I have 4 sets of 4 double crochet and 3 sets of chain 4s. And now we can move on to row 2. So you can go ahead and chain 4 and turn your work. And now we're going to be skipping over the first 4 stitches. So we're not going to be working anything into these first 4 double crochet. Instead, we're going to yarn over, and in this first space that we have here, we're going to work in the starting chain from 2 rows below. So you're not working in the previous row, but you're going to be putting your hook into that first chain of the set of 4 from the starting chain. Place the chain from the previous row on your hook as well, and work your double crochet stitch around it. So I'll show you that again. Insert your hook into the next chain. And when you do this, the chain from the previous row is going to be above your hook, and you're pretty much just going to ignore it, and just when you're working your stitches, make sure that you are working your double crochet around it. So it's going to be hidden within the stitch. And we're just double crocheting 2 rows below, so in the starting chain, and we are working our stitches around the chain 4 from the previous row, and this is what we will be doing throughout the remainder of the panel. When we are working these double crochets, you never go into the row directly below it. You're going to be going, so not the previous row, but the row before when you're working your double crochet. So once you have your 4 double crochet made, it's going to be very similar to the first row. You can just go ahead and chain 4, and then we're going to be skipping over the next 4 stitches. So chain 4 and skip over the 4 double crochet from the previous row. And then when you get to the next spot, do the same thing that we just did. Work your 4 double crochet into the starting chain, and just do that across. Chain 4 and skip, 4 double crochet into the starting chain, and I will meet you at the end of the row. So to finish off our row, you're going to just chain 4. And now we're going to skip over these stitches here, and we're just going to finish with a slip stitch into the final double crochet. So technically we're only skipping over 3, and we're working a slip stitch into that final spot, but we're not working any double crochet stitches or anything like that. We're just slip stitching to join, and that completes row 2. So you should have 12 double crochet here and 16 chains. Now you can turn your work and begin row 3. So for row 3, you're going to chain 2. This does not count as a stitch. And in the first stitch, you're going to work your first double crochet. So this is the same stitch that you slip stitched into in the previous row. And that's where you're going to work your first double crochet. And then your next double crochet will go into the following double crochet, and your third into the third, your fourth into the fourth. And remember, this is from 2 rows below, not the previous row. So you're working to row 1 right now, and you're working around the chain from the previous row. So now we have our 4 double crochet, and we're going to skip over the next 4. So you can chain 4, skip over the following 4 stitches, and then again work 4 double crochet into the 4 double crochet from 2 rows below. So just remember to work your stitch around the chain from the previous row as well. So just make sure that it's above your hook while you're working your double crochet, and just continue in the same manner all the way across. So we have our 4, you can go ahead and chain 4, skip 4, and then 4 double crochet into the next section. So repeat this all the way across the row, and then I will meet you at the end to show you how to complete it. Okay, we're in our last group of 4 here, and we're just going to finish by working 1 final double crochet into that last double crochet from 2 rows below to complete. So now again, we have 16 double crochet and then 3 chain 4 spaces. Okay, so now we can begin row 4, and again, we're going to chain 4 to start us off. And we're skipping over the first 4 stitches. So we have our chain 4, skipping over 4, and then in that first section here, from 2 rows below, you're going to work your double crochet, working it around the chain from the previous row, as well as working it into the double crochet from 2 rows below. And then just repeat the same thing all the way across, chaining 4, skipping 4, 4 double crochet from 2 rows below. And I'll meet you at the end of this row to show you how to finish off. So complete just as you did before, chain 4 and slip stitch in the last stitch to complete row 4. So now for rows 5, 6, 7, and 8, go ahead and just repeat rows 3 and 4 twice. So now I have 8 rows complete here, and I have ended on a row 4 repeat. You should have the same amount of rows as well, and you can see that we're just going back and forth, repeating rows 3 and 4 for the main row repeat of this project. And now we're going to fasten off our work, and then make sure you turn your work after fastening off. So the final row that we just made, the ends should be on the right hand side now, and you can just set that piece aside. We're going to be doing a little bit of shaping here. Grab new yarn. You're still going to be holding it double stranded, and you can just go ahead and create a slip knot. So we're shaping the bottom of the bag here. This begins row 9, and we're just going to chain 12. So yarn over and pull through a total of 12 times. Now we're going to work a double crochet into that first double crochet from 2 rows below to join back into our panel. So you'll want to hold onto your yarn here. It might feel a little weird immediately working a double crochet into that corner stitch, but once you have that in, you're joined back in, you're working around the chains from the previous row like normal, and we're basically back into our normal stitch repeat here. So we just joined in with a double crochet into the corner stitch from 2 rows below, and then work our next 3 double crochet, and then we can go ahead and chain 4, skip the next 4, and continue on with our regular stitch repeat all the way across to the end of the panel, and then I will show you how to do the shaping on the other side. So once we get to the end of the row here, we've finished with our 4 double crochet. We're going to go ahead and chain 14 double crochet on this end to complete the row. So we had a chain 12 on one end, worked our regular stitches across, and then finished with a chain 14. And then you can go ahead and turn your work. To begin the following row, we are going to be working 1 double crochet into the 3rd chain from the hook, just like you did in row 1. So locate that 3rd chain, and in the back bump, work your first double crochet. And then we're going to continue on with 3 more double crochet, working 1 into each of the next 3 chains. So just like you have in row 1, we're going to start off with these 4 double crochet here. And then we're going to be chaining 4 and skipping 4 over the following 4 chains. So same thing, chain 4, skip 4, and then go right back into working 4 more double crochet into the last 4 chains here. So 1 double crochet into each of these last 4 chains. And now we can go continue right back into the panel portion that we've completed, doing our same stitch repeat. So you'll chain 4, skip over the next 4 stitches, and then work your 4 double crochet into the following 4 stitches from 2 rows below, working around the chain 4 from the previous row as well. So now we're just right back into the regular stitches that we have been doing throughout the first handful of rows. And then just continue across like normal. So chain 4, skip 4, 4 double crochet, and then I will show you how to continue on the other end of the panel. Okay, so I have chained 4, skipping over my final 4, and now we've reached the last 12 chains of the row here. So now you're going to do the same thing that we did on the other side. Locate that first chain from the group of 12, rotate slightly, insert your hook into that back bump, and work your first double crochet. And then work 1 more double crochet into the next 3 chains as well, for a total of 4 double crochet stitches. Now work 1 more chain 4 set, skip over the next 4, and then finally finish the row with 4 double crochet to complete row 10. So we'll have a total of 28 double crochet stitches and 24 chains for this row. And then we can continue on like normal, just as we previously been now that we have our shaping row set up. So just finish with your final 4 stitches. Okay, so now we can begin row 11. For row 11, we're going to start off by chaining 4, turning our work and skipping those first 4 double crochet. And then now you can work your first double crochet into that very first chain there from the starting chain that we added on. So skip 4 and then work into the 4 chains just like we did in row 1, and continue with your normal stitch repeat across all the way to the end, working into those chains just like you normally would, and treat it just as you do a normal stitch. And that sets us up for the remainder of the panel. So after row 11, you'll have 24 double crochet and 28 chains. We're just finishing off the row here with my final 4 double crochet, and then chain 4 and work a slip stitch into the final double crochet of the row. So now for the remainder of the panel, you have rows 12 through 36. You're just going to repeat rows 3 and 4 over and over and over again. So your stitch count will stay the same. You'll either have 28 double crochet and 24 chains, or 24 double crochet and 28 chains. It swaps every other row, it'll switch. So just repeat rows 3 and 4 and do our normal stitch repeat until you have a total of 36 rows for your panel, and then I will show you how to do the final row of the panel to finish it off. Okay, so now you should have a total of 36 rows complete, and now we can begin row 37, which is the final row of the panel. So to do row 37, you're going to slip stitch into that very first stitch, and then slip stitch in the next 3 stitches as well. So we're just starting off with 4 slip stitches, working them into the 4 double crochet. Just make sure you're not pulling these slip stitches too tightly. You just want to keep a relaxed tension here. And then we're going to work a half double crochet into the first double crochet from 2 rows below. So a half double is yarn over, insert hook, yarn over, pull up a loop, yarn over, pull through 3. and you're going to be working a total of 4 half double crochet here. So 1 into each of those 4 double crochet stitches, and then just repeat that across. So now we're going to again work 4 slip stitch loosely into the top of the double crochet, and then work 4 double crochet into the next 4 stitches. Just go ahead and repeat this all the way to the end. Okay, so you can go ahead and fasten off. You'll want to leave one of the tails a little bit longer so that you can use it to sew the side of your bag. You don't need 2 tails long. We're only going to be doing the sewing with 1 tail. And then you can go back and remake this same panel for a second time. So you need 2 that are exactly the same. So you can rewatch if you need to. They'll be exactly the same, and then you can come back here and I will show you the rest of the pattern. Okay, so now we need to make our 2 strap panels. I have 1 complete already, and I'll show you how to make the second one here. You're going to be doing this double-stranded, again, just like the rest of the bag. So take your 2 strands of yarn, and then you'll want to have a starting tail left long enough to sew the side of the strap to your bag, and you'll also finish with a long tail as well. So leave a little bit of a tail there for sewing, and now we're just going to start off by making a long chain. So for the strap, we're going to be chaining 71. So just yarn over and pull through a total of 71 times. So now for row 1, we're going to be working 1 single crochet into the second chain from the hook. So I'm just working mine into the back bump and working a single crochet. So yarn over, pull up a loop, yarn over, pull through 2. Same thing in the next chain, work a single crochet. And we're just going to continue on until we have a total of 70 single crochet stitches. So you're just working 1 single crochet into each chain all the way to the end. And then for row 2, you can go ahead and chain 1 and turn your work. And for row 2, we're going to be starting with 1 single crochet into that very first stitch. And you're going to work 29 more single crochet. So we're only going to do a total of 30 single crochet here. And now we're going to be working 10 slip stitches into the next 10 stitches. So 1 slip stitch in that very next stitch, 1 slip stitch into the second, and just continue on until you have a total of 10 slip stitch. Just make sure you're not doing these too tightly because you'll have to come back and work into the stitches in the next row. Now you're going to finish off by working 1 single crochet into the last 30 stitches. So we've done 30 single crochet, 10 slip stitches, 30 single crochet to complete. So for the next 3 rows, you're going to do the same thing. So just repeat row 2 for rows 3 through 5. So 30 single crochet, 10 slip stitch, 30 single crochet 3 more times. And then we're going to finish the very last row by working 1 single crochet into each stitch. So that part is not shown. But I just single crocheted all the way across, including in these 10 slip stitches here, all the way to the end for a total of 70 single crochet. You should have 6 rows total. So a single crochet row, the 4 rows with the slip stitches, and then 1 more single crochet row, and then you can fasten off and leave a tail long enough for sewing this end to your bag, and then you can go ahead and remake this so that you have a second matching one for 2, so you have 2 straps. Okay, so now we can begin seaming. You're going to take your main panels of your bag and place them right sides facing. It really doesn't matter what side you want to be the right or the wrong side. I have it as row 2 as the right side, but it pretty much looks the same on either way. So just make sure you pick one, stick to it, and then place it right sides facing. We're going to sew the sides of the bag, the bottom of the bag, and then we're going to sandwich our corners together like this and sew across. So you're going to need a needle, and then we're going to use some of the tails that we have to begin joining. I'm going to start off by sewing the bottom of my bag, so row 1 from each of the panel together. So you only need to use one strand when you're doing the sewing, and you can use whichever method you prefer to seam your pieces together. I'm just going to do the mattress stitch and join across. If you have a different method that you like to use, it does not matter. So whichever you prefer, however you're most comfortable doing it, go ahead and do it that way. You just want to make sure that your stitches are lined up evenly along the bottom here and that you're not skipping or bunching the stitches as you go. And you're just working along the bottom of row 1 on both panels. So go ahead and sew that together. Once your bottom is joined together, you're going to sew the sides as well. So you can use the tails, and from rows 9 through 37, sew up both sides here. And then I've already sewn together one of my corners, and I'm going to show you on this other side how to do it. So you should have 3 sides sewn, your bottom and your 2 straight edges. And now these little square cutouts that we have here, we want to join them together. So you want to place your bag sideways and kind of sandwich these edges together. Your side seam and your bottom seam should line up evenly. And we're just going to hold it down and sew from one end to the other end to join, and that gives us our side shaping of the bag. So if you need to use a stitch marker and place it in the center at the seam to hold it, you can. I didn't need to do that. It shouldn't be too difficult, but you just start on one end on the right hand side and then sew all the way across, working through both panels. So that completes the sewing portion, and now we need to add on the top trim of our bag. Here's what it looks like all sewn, and this is right side out now, so you can turn your bag so now all the tails and the seams are hidden on the inside. And we're going to do the top bag trim, which is just a few rounds here. So you can grab your yarn, make sure you have it double stranded, and create a slip knot. And now we're just going to join in to the left, the stitch on the left of the side seam. Doesn't matter which seam, I'm doing it the one on the left hand side, and I'm just slip stitching to join into that stitch that's directly after the seam. So once you slip stitch to join, you can go ahead and chain 1, and then we're just going to be doing a round of half double crochet stitches around the top of the bag. So yarn over, and then insert your hook into the same stitch that you joined. Might be a little tight, and then yarn over, pull up a loop, and yarn over, pull through all 3 loops for your first half double crochet, and then just do 1 half double crochet into each of the stitches around. Okay, once you've worked your way around, you can go ahead and slip stitch into the first half double crochet made, and you should have a total of 104 half double crochet stitches. Now you can chain 1. We're going to skip the very first stitch, so the one we slip stitched into, skip over it and work a single crochet into the next, plus work a single crochet into the next 4 stitches as well, for a total of 5 single crochet stitches. After we have our 5 single crochet stitches, you're going to skip the next stitch, and then in the following we're going to work a special stitch. So skip 1, and then in the next, yarn over, insert your hook, yarn over, pull up a loop, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, insert your hook into the same, yarn over, pull up a loop, yarn over, pull through 2. You have 3 loops on your hook, yarn over and pull through all 3 loops. And then you're going to go ahead and chain 2, and then in that same stitch, yarn over, insert your hook, yarn over, pull up a loop, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, insert your hook, yarn over, pull up a loop, yarn over, pull through 2, and yarn over, pull through all 3. So that is 1 special stitch all into that same stitch. skip the following stitch directly after it and work a single crochet into the next, and a single crochet into the next 4 as well. So we're separating the special stitches with 5 single crochet in between. And then the special stitch has a skipped stitch on either side as well. So after you work your 5 more single crochet, you skip the next one and then work your special stitch into the following. So you work the first half, yarn over, pull through all 3, and then chain 2, and then do the same thing all into that same stitch. Yarn over, insert your hook, yarn over, pull up a loop, yarn over, pull through 2, repeat that one more time, and then yarn over, pull through all 3. And then again, you're going to skip the next one and start with your single crochet into the one after that. So go ahead and just repeat this all the way around. Okay, and then you can slip stitch to the first single crochet of the round to join, and then we're going to work 2 more single crochet. So slip stitch over once into the next stitch, so not in the first one, but in the next stitch, slip stitch over, and then work 1 more slip stitch into the following. And now you can go ahead and chain 3, so yarn over, pull through 3 times, and then in this first chain 2 space, you're going to work 1 single crochet. So chain 3, 1 single crochet in the chain 2 space, and now we're going to do a little picot stitch. So chain 3, and then into the base of the single crochet that you made, you're just going to insert your hook and slip stitch into it. And then now again, we can chain 3, and then skip over the top of the half of the special stitch from the previous row plus 2 of the single crochet, and in that third single crochet is where you can slip stitch into. So we chained 3, worked a single crochet and a picot into the chain 2 space, and then chain 3 and then slip stitch in that center one, and we're going to repeat that around. So chain 3, work a single crochet into the chain 2 space, chain 3, slip stitch into the base of your single crochet stitch. If you have a different way that you prefer to do your picots, you can totally adjust that if you want to. This is just how I prefer to do it. And then you can chain 3 again, skip 3 stitches and work a slip stitch into the following. So it's the center single crochet of the 5 from below. And you're just going to continue repeating this around. Chain 3, single crochet, picot into that chain 2 space, and then chain 3 and slip stitch. Okay, once you get to the end of the round, I've just done my final picot, and I am going to chain 3 and then work my final slip stitch into the second slip stitch that I made of this round. So technically the third one, since we slip stitched at the end of row 2 and then at the beginning of round 3 we worked 2 slip stitch. I'm working my final slip stitch into the same spot as that second slip stitch. It's just before the first chain 3 made, and then you can fasten off your work. So now we just need to sew the straps to the bag. I already have one sewn on. I have my work wrong side out right now, so the right side of the work is on the inside. This is wrong side facing, just so I can show you, and it's easier to sew. So you're going to take the first side of your strap, doesn't matter which way you want the right or the wrong side of the strap to be, and I have it about 3 inches from the side seam to that first edge of the strap. It's about 3 inches in. It's between the 3rd and 4th double crochet group. You can use your stitch markers to hold it in place. And then it's also about 3 inches down from the very top of the bag. That way it's sturdier and has more surface area sewn onto the bag to keep your handle stronger. So we're just going to sew all 4 sides of the strap, the bottom, the sides, and then along the top, kind of in a rectangular shape to join it into the panel. So once you have your strap in place, you're just going to use your needle and one of the tails here and sew up one of the sides. When you're sticking your needle through, just make sure you're not poking it around to the front of the bag. You want to just kind of pick up the stitch that's on the inside of the bag. That way you don't see your seams. So you can see I'm kind of just catching the strand that is hidden on the inside. And stitching up. You can use whichever method you prefer. However you want to sew it in is perfectly fine. Just pay attention that your needle doesn't poke through to the other side. So go ahead and work up the first side, and then I'll show you how we're going to sew it along the top edge here next. Okay, so when you get along the top, I'm doing the same thing. It might feel a little bit weird when you're sewing it along here, but it just helps keep it nice and strong. Again, I have it hidden in between the strap and the bag, and I'm just kind of catching the inside of those single crochet stitches, and then you can continue down the other side and across the bottom. You'll do the same thing on the other side of the strap. Make sure it's placed evenly as the first, and then just make sure you're not twisting your handle either once you place it. And then you can do the same thing on the other panel as well with the second strap. I also purchased a liner from Amazon to put on the inside of my bag. If you know how to sew and you have sewing skills, you can definitely make yourself a liner that way instead. But I do not, so I like to purchase these handy little inserts. They fit nicely into this bag. I will link to the exact ones that I have in the description as well as in my blog post. And then all that's remaining is just weaving in any ends, and that is it for this design. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I will see you in the next video tutorial.